started real young in my teens when I first got the neck, for which I've always had a real interest in horsepower and speed, that type of thing. So even way before I even started driving a car, I was going to the racetracks with some of my older buddies that had race cars, and I've always had an interest in it. And then I had my first engine built when I was 18 to put in my street car by Bo Beverly from Pound, Virginia, which he still builds engines and his grandson races today. So he built my first engine back, and that was in the 70s. Yeah, I had my own team, I had guys that helped me, had crew, that went with me every race and took care of the car. And we worked on the car when I was back home. I had an engine builder out of South Carolina that built my engines when if I had a major engine problem or needed something other checked or beefed up or make a little faster, he took care of my engines for me. And then, about like everybody else, kids come along, and so your life changes. So racing went to the back burner. And actually, I was probably 50 by the time I really got started back into it again and for full-time racing. So I took quite a big break from it, but I got back into it and followed it almost every weekend somewhere or another. Probably been over 10 years ago, at least, when I went back and purchased my first car back and started team back up and back into it. And the first year or two, I basically just run by myself with one guy, my boy, Little Barry. He'd always go with me, and some of my buddies would always help me. And then when I went to bigger and faster cars and a lot more of the top classes that I was running in, then I had to have crew chief with me all the time, and we stayed on top of the car between every round and trying to put it in the winner's circle every race if we could. She loved it. She was my die-hard supporter. I never went to a race without her. We'd be out at the track. It may be 90, 95, sometimes up towards 100 degrees in the summertime. And put a fire suit on and strap yourself in a race car that's already miserable hot is about unbearable. So what time I was sitting in the car before I rode to the staging lanes or starting line, she would sit with towels dipped in ice in coolers, keep changing them out as fast as we could change them out around the back of my head, on the top of my head. And once I'd have to go ahead and put my helmet on, I would sit and keep wet, cold towels till I rode right to the starting line. Then I would throw it to the floor, and hopefully I was on kill mode when I left the line. And usually I was. Doctors finally told me to stay out of the cars, or if I didn't, I was going to die in one of them. I had the transplant actually 6 weeks ago. I had some issues with it. I've started back having some lung issues right now that they're working on, but hopefully we'll get them took care of, and I'll be back home within a little over a month. Hopefully I get to go home. I don't know that I will ever be able to drive and get my license back in IHRA and NHRA and all that stuff that I had. A lot of it depends on my health, and I may, eventually get back to maybe just do some driving for somebody else, or hopefully make a few paces back down the track again. But actually myself, I don't see me starting a race team back up for myself. I just always when I was out, I always enjoyed racing. When we was following the IHRA circuit, most time we'd leave on a Thursday and be at the track ready to practice and get time runs in on Friday. And if it was a 1 or 2 day race, we'd have competition on Saturdays and Sundays. So it was a lot of traveling, a lot away from home, and a lot of expense, but it was always fun. The worst thing, if you'd travel 10 hours from home and be sitting there and it rain all weekend on you and never get to make a pace, that was bad deals. But that goes with the territory. It's like anything else, you gotta have a good weather. But I always enjoyed it. Even if we wasn't racing, we was all sitting around telling tales of each other, race tales of some kind. But it was always a good competition. Racing was, especially in the top sportsman that I ran in IHRA all the time. It was all door cars running against door cars, and it was fast door cars. When I was racing, basically we was running about the mid-4 range through the 1/8 of a mile. Racing is just like being, when you go, it's just like being with your family. I mean, everybody is there, everybody's friendly, everybody's helping each other. It's just a big community of good buddies all get together, and competition's tough and the competition's rough, and you're your best friend with each other until you roll to that starting line together, and then you're bitter enemies till one of you comes out the winner, and then you're back buddies again. Get down to the end, if you make the final round, it's you and the other guy for the win, the money, and the glory of leaving there with a trophy in there. It's a good feeling to take the win lights in the finals. And I have beat quite a few of the top drivers in the country, so basically every time I end up having to quit, they knowed when I rolled into a track and unloaded my car, I was a tougher competition as they was there. They said, "You know how many world championships that guy's won?" I said, "No, what difference does it make?" They said, "He's some of the best drivers out here on the circuit." I said, "Well, everybody always told me I was too stupid to be intimidated, so I guess I didn't pay any attention to it." And then a few of them world champions, when I put them on the trailer, some crews, sometimes they'd come to me and they said, "Buddy, you was match tough that time. Do you know how many world championships that guy's won?" I said, "Well," the way I look at it, I said, "He was match tough too." I said, "He's going home, I'm still racing." My goal was to try to win a world championship that I never did get. I got close a few times. I missed, I think 2 years before I had to quit racing. Me and the other guy was locked in a battle of who would get to run for the world, and I come up 1 round short that year in points. So I missed getting to run for the world championship, but it still was good competition all year. I still enjoy the racing. I'll go with some of my buddies, and especially in Pikeville, once I get back home, and I'll do what I can to help Pikeville with their local racing and things like that. I'll do what I can to help them guys. Just be around the cars and be around the racing.